Okay, I'm already like a bird in flight because Shan and I have been jabbering here for like a half an hour about life. And here's my dear friend Sian Brown, and she is on fire for spirit and music. And welcome and Happy New Year, Shan.
Happy New Year, Lou. Happy
Thank
New Year
you.
to you.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
So take it away, kiddo. Let us know what's happening in your quiet little life, yeah?
Oh God. Well, you've caught me by surprise because you just contacted me yesterday for this. So I'm not hugely prepared, but I'm a singer-songwriter. I am doing a few different singer-songwriter projects. I'm also doing a Master's of Science in Consciousness, Spirituality, and Transpersonal Psychology. I'm a music therapist. I'm a sound healer. And I've just got loads of different things going on. I'm a bit of a nutcase, but that's why we're friends, because
Yes.
like attracts like.
We're mad for spirit and love and life and music. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm at a really, really interesting time in my life. I'm 42 and I it's the best yet. Life really does begin at 40. I thought it was such a cliche, but it's true. I love it. I've never been happier. There's just loads going on, and it's all stuff that I really, really love. So I don't know what to pick first
Sure.
to talk
Sure.
about, but
Well, bless you. I mean, again, darling, you're just what an inspiration you are. And, you've got all these, you're welcome, my friend. Thank you. You've got all these huge goals, and many of them you're halfway to completion. I think the place to start is your connection to Anne Baring and tell people a little bit about her and her book and what's happened from all that.
okay, Anne Baring is a Jungian analyst, and I love her. And I first came across her work when I was in first year of my master's in consciousness, spirituality, and transpersonal psychology. And we had
Which is
an
how long
assignment to
ago?
do.
A couple
Sorry?
years? How long ago? How long?
I'm in the end of second year now. It's 3 years. I'm in the end of second year. Um, my future with it, I'm not sure because I might branch off to do a PhD instead. But that's I'll tell you about that later.
Right.
But
You
um,
you connected with her a year ago or a couple years? Just how
a
long?
year ago, a
Okay,
year
thank
ago.
you.
So her video was in. So I'm doing this master's completely online. It's a completely online master's. And so we're on this thing called Canvas, and you go on, you log on, you've got the different modules, and you can go into different sections. So there was a section on SMN videos, Science and Medical Network, and we had to pick a video to do a presentation on. Now, my group didn't end up picking Anne Baring, but I watched this video of Anne Baring, and it was 3.5 hours long. And she wasn't even visible. It was just audio, and
Wow.
it was just a giant picture of the cosmos and audio, and it was three
Wow.
and a half hours long. I know, and I started listening to it, and I was hooked within the first 10 minutes. I was like,
Right.
God, this sounds amazing. I'm going to listen to this later. So
Wow.
I listened to it over the course, when I do cooking, especially when I'm cooking, I like to put things like that on to listen to, like
Sure.
audiobooks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I listened to it while I was cooking over a few nights, and I thought, that was mind blowing. Hang on, I've got to listen to that again. But it was 3.5 hours long. So, I listened to it in the bath, I listened to it when I was cleaning, and it just kept re-blowing my mind, my heart, and my soul. I was like,
Wow.
this is incredible, this is amazing. And whenever it would get to the finish, I would, in an empty room, be like, oh, that was amazing. That was incredible. So I ended up going onto her YouTube channel and watching her
Right.
do a few more shorter videos. She's got like hour-long videos where she's synopsizing bits of her work. She's done so much research, and I just fell in love with her. And I went to her website. I'm a
Right.
stalker.
Well,
I went to her website. I checked out all the stuff on her website, and I found, if you want to contact me, here's the email address. So I emailed her. I just emailed her because I had this idea that I wanted to write an album about what she was talking about. I was like, God, that would be an amazing message to put out into the world. That would be incredible. It was all about the divine feminine and spirituality and the imbalance of this modern society and the capitalist system and everything. It was all about that. And I just thought that would be an incredible message to put out there. And it's blown my heart, mind, and soul. And I'm very passionate about it. So I emailed her and I said that. I was like, you've blown my mind and my heart and my soul, and I love your stuff, and thank you so much for all your research, and it's just incredible, and I want to write an album. And it was this, me style kind of like like
Sure. Sure.
I
Yes.
just, when I'm excited about something, I just can't shut up.
Good for
uh,
you. Good for you, honey. Yeah.
so I didn't expect to get an email back. I got an email back within like 20 minutes or something.
Wow. Wow.
And it was Anne, and it was just saying, well, thank you so much. That's so sweet. And she replied to bits of my email. And basically she said, I think the best thing for you to do would be well, because in the email I kind of said, I'm going to do this. This is something I'm doing. I'd really love your blessing, because
Yeah.
it's your work.
Yeah.
I just would love
Yeah.
to get your
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah.
She gave me her blessing, but she also said, I think the best thing for you to do would be to buy my book and to use the book to read the material and to get like, because everything is so,
Right.
it starts from the very beginning of civilization, and it gives you the whole story of going through the witch trials and the shamanic
Right.
era, and
Right.
then going into the patriarchal society, like the whole thing. She's researched
Right.
the whole thing right back. And so I was
You had a
so
copy of the
excited.
book. You want to show us which book it is?
Yeah, so I got the book.
The
It's probably
Dream of the
backwards.
Cosmos.
The
A
Dream of the
Quest for the
Cosmos,
Soul.
The Quest for the Soul.
Okay.
It's quite a
Beautiful.
hefty book.
Of course.
And when I first got it, I looked at the contents, and I noticed that it was split into 6 parts. So you
Right.
got part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6. And I thought, well, that's great. I'll write 2 songs per part.
Right.
And that will be 12 songs for an entire album based completely on the research in her book.
Yeah.
And I emailed her again and I told her my idea. She said, I think that's a great idea. Good luck with it all. And then I madly started being the nerd that I am, or the nerd that I've turned into. I madly started so I read part 1 about 3 or 4 times. I underlined bits that I loved. I journaled about it.
Right.
And then I took down all the little quotes that I loved, and put them all there in different colors, because I've turned into such a nerd.
Well,
And then
that's how you create, is you got to break it down to its parts and find what's exciting, you know.
that's it. I didn't start off as a nerd, to be fair. When I was actually in school originally, I was not. I was the
I
opposite.
I love whatever you're calling nerdishness, honey. It's creativity, passion, genius. It's brilliant. Go, go, go.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Welcome.
Well, I'm glad that it's happened this way. My life seems to be filled with opposites. I don't seem to be able to find any happy medium. I'm not a happy medium type of person, but I'm glad that I'm a nerd. Exactly. I'm
I
glad
know
that I'm a
that
nerd
one.
in my
I
later
know
life.
that one, Shan. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I started writing songs. I wrote the first song. So the first song, God, there's so much writing here. My thoughts on part 2. The first song was "Who Am I?"
Right.
And it's basically introducing Anne Baring, like who she is and why she started researching all this kind of stuff, and her
Okay.
life. She's had a really interesting life. She's an incredibly interesting woman. She's like
Was
92, I think.
92. There you go. Okay.
92 at the moment.
Right.
And she's had a really incredible life. She's all these different things that she's done, which
Wasn't
makes
she
me
a
happy.
fashion designer in London for a while?
Yeah, she had
Right.
a dress shop in London, a really successful dress shop in London for a good few years. I think it was maybe 12 years or something, where she designed these beautiful dresses. And
Wow.
then she went and worked for museums, traveling the world on her own. A woman on
Wow.
her own in the 50s, it was unheard of,
Right.
traveling to Japan, to these museums to talk about artifacts. And she's just, if you read the book, she's had an incredible incredibly interesting life, and it talks about her having her little girl and meeting her husband, and she's had a lot of heartbreaks herself along the way. So that was all about the first Who Am
Okay.
I, the first
Okay.
song.
Right.
And I've got like all the chords and everything written out so that I don't
Great.
forget them, and I've videoed them. They're all on my YouTube channel, so that because I'm flying through them, and
Yes.
I need references. I need to put them down and remember how I've played them and how the melody goes. So they're all documented, which is more
Excellent.
for me than anybody else.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
The second song was Dreams and Visions, and it was her dream and vision and how she like really got assigned from the universe to go into this research. And that's what I kept on doing. I just kept on going through the parts of the book 3 or 4 times each, and underlining everything I loved and thinking about it. There's a lot of thinking involved.
Sure.
Jimmy would be snoring, and I'd be there looking at the ceiling going, but then, working out all these,
Sure.
rejigging it in my
Yeah. Yeah.
head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, keep going. Give us the other four song titles, if you would.
Okay,
Yeah. Might as well.
so it went on to The Great Mother.
Okay.
So The Great Mother was song 3, and that was because she was talking about the shamanic era, and before we had the god and the sky god or whatever, it was a much more interconnected spirituality where there were shamans and everything had a soul. Everything was ensouled. Like
Right.
the stones had a soul, the mountains had a soul, we had a soul, animals, everybody
Yeah.
had a life force, and that was taken into consideration. And it was the Great Mother who was worshipped rather than Father God.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
the Great Mother. So
Sure.
that was that song. And then song 4 was the Shamanic Vision. And I really like this song. I wrote that because I'm halfway through my shamanic practitioner training. So I have my own shamanic drum, and I wrote that on the shamanic drum just with a shamanic drum beat. And I really, really like that song. It's all about shamanism.
I think I
So
heard that one.
song
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
song 5 then started to get painful when I was reading the book. I was like, oh, it's not fair. Song 5 was when the patriarchy, the kind of real patriarchy, came in. The Russians, the Kurgan tribe, I think it was, and other tribes around that area came down from the Russian steppes and just started obliterating everything, and taking no prisoners, killing all the men, taking the women, raping the women, bringing the sky gods and the war chariot and big weapons and everything, and just basically saying, you're going to do what we say now.
Yeah.
And
Domination.
that was warrior. So I wrote that song from the perspective of the patriarchy. And
Okay.
I got that idea from a lovely young lady that I'm seeing for music therapy. She gave me that idea, actually.
Hmm.
So I wrote that. I'm fairly proud of
Sorry.
that.
How did she give you that idea?
Oh, well, I can't really say too much about that, but it was an idea that
It
came
was
from
her
her.
personal experience somehow that helped you tap into that. I mean, I don't want to divulge anyone's privacy, but I just
Yeah, I can't,
okay.
because
Okay.
I need to keep
She
that.
had a personal relationship to warrior energy. We'll put it that way, and that clicked for you.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
no, I just thought it would be interesting to write it from instead of instead of me going,
Yeah.
how could you do that? Why did
Yeah.
you kill
Yeah.
us? I just thought it would be more interesting to write it from the other
Yes.
side.
I hear you. Okay.
And so then song 6, which is song that I recently finished, was An Orchard Without a Wall. And I'm
Sorry,
really, really
say
proud.
it again. A what? What?
An Orchard Without a Wall.
Okay.
So within
Yes,
the
I've heard that
chapter that
too. I've heard that.
it's all about the fall, basically. It's all about how they took the beautiful shamanic great mother kind of symbolism, the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, and the tree of life. And they took those beautiful symbols and they turned it into this myth where this snake convinces a woman to steal and take the men completely off track. And that's they really turned the whole beautiful feminine thing into this awful look what you did, you terrible woman
Right.
type thing.
Right.
So that's what An Orchard Without a Wall is all
It's a
about.
great title. I have heard it. It's lovely. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's the latest video on my YouTube channel,
Yes. Yes.
and
I've seen it. Yeah.
the title "An Orchard Without a Wall" was actually a book. I think it was a book that Anne Baring had quoted within the chapter.
Okay.
So if you Google An Orchard Without a Wall, it should come up, the book, the text. But I just thought it was a beautiful image.
Yeah.
There's a whole sentence to it, basically saying that poor women have been left like an orchard without a wall all these years. And
Wow.
I just thought it was a really, really nice
Yeah.
image.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Powerful.
I've been sending the songs to Anne as I go,
Right.
and she always gets back to me. She
Right.
always gets back to me, and usually within the hour. She's
Right.
so sweet. She thinks I'm sweet. She's incredibly sweet,
Yeah.
and yeah, she's given me little. Oh, this is amazing, Shan. The only thing I might add would be on this line, and she'll say, because of the research,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a good word to use. They wouldn't have used that word back then. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if you could. So she has had like input into the songs. I've changed lines of the songs on her suggestions. So it's incredibly meaningful for me.
Sure.
I'm kind of collaborating with my hero, with one of my
Yes.
absolute heroes. She's a goddess. She's incredible. So
Yeah.
I just want her to like it, and yeah. So that's that story.
So far, so good. Yeah, you're blazing a trail. I say one more time. Bless you. That's wonderful. Fantastic. So
I'm
you're
I'm
go on.
I'm halfway through.
Right.
So I've got 6 songs done, and I'll be finished it by the end of the summer for sure. I've just got so many assignments and stuff on college, and I'm also working as a music therapist. So I'm hoping to get to the next song maybe at Easter, but I'm halfway through. I'm
Right.
halfway.
So we want to think about some at some point. I mean, do you have a Patreon page?
I do. I've got one Patreon.
Oh, you have one Patreon. God love you. I never even set the thing up. That's how far I got. Well, I'm just saying, somehow I would love to help this to happen and support your great work and Anne's great work. And so just want to put a mention out there. If people want to support you in this work, uh, we'll put a PayPal link there for you, something like this.
Yeah, I can. I think my Patreon is Siân Brown Music. I think most of my things are Siân Brown Music.
Is that the easiest way for people to donate to this project and your work?
Yeah, but I have a PayPal as well.
Let's
I
do
can,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
I
do both of
can.
those.
I mean, there's no pressure from anybody,
No,
but
honey, you got to put it out there to get it back, my friend. This
well,
is it. We're putting
I
it
have
out
no
there.
idea how I'm going to fund the actual making the album.
Not a
So
problem.
anything helps.
The
Or even if
universe.
somebody knew
Yes.
where I could apply for funding that would be up for
Well,
this, or if
again,
anybody
yes.
fancies, if anybody has too much money and fancies giving a bit to some creative project that hopefully will be a great message for the world, then cool. Yeah.
Yes, dear. The universe takes care of itself. You are taking care of the universe. That's the way I see it. You know, it's meant to happen, and it will happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna, I'll die trying.
You're doing fine. You don't have to die at anything. We'll trust and we'll give thanks and we'll support each other as we are. These are powerful messages and great, very, very timely and very greatly needed messages out in the world. Of course. Do you know the name Maria Gimbutas? Have you ever heard of her?
No,
Or Rian Eisler?
no, sorry.
Okay, well, so those are two of my teachers way back in bookshop days, back in the 80s, that introduced me to all of this. And they absolutely took the top of my head off at that time as well. Gimbutas was the archaeologist who was traveling the world, and Eisler was the writer and the philosopher who wrote her book, The Chalice and the Blade. And basically, it's about the divine. Hi.
I've heard of that title.
Okay, so yes, that's absolutely worth reading. In putting on your reading list with all that you're doing there, where she basically says the same that Anne is saying, and any smart that you're saying, any smart person, that these dominator models, rise and fall because they're unsustainable. You can't just take, and rape and pillage and murder and think that life is going to be meaningful and sustainable and people can have families and grow their plants. There has to be the divine feminine, as we've talked many times on the wisdom of the indigenous people of the world, who are thanking the earth and blessing the earth and gifting the earth, every day of their life, and being grateful for the gift of life. And this is where we're going, as you and I know. As I was mentioning, I'm studying with Addie Lamborn, and that's her message from the Divine Mother. 100%. We are going back to nature, and the Divine Mother is going to help us remember what it means to really live in harmony and balance with the earth.
Yeah, we have to. This big disconnect from nature we have is so dangerous. We need to reconnect with nature, and I know that we're forging ahead with technological advances, and there's all these talks of you know, transhumanism and all that kind of stuff coming in, where we study it in my master's. There's a whole module on the transhumanism perspective, and I can see that there are pluses and minuses for it. I can see that people who can't walk, say, they have new limbs, or people who have locked-in syndrome, they can actually communicate with eye gaze technology. There's a lot of pluses for the technology coming in, but because we're in such a patriarchal,
Yeah,
consumerist, capitalist society,
crazy.
we have to be really, really, really careful,
Yeah,
because there is a history of manipulation there, way back in Edward Bernays, and how he brought in propaganda and
right.
um, all the kind of manipulating people to buy things, consumerism, manipulating people to buy things. And we just got to be really, really careful, because we are approaching a singularity with technology. There's no doubt about that, and there's no real stopping it, I don't think. But I wrote this essay for the end of last year, my master's last year, called Homo Eco Techno, and it's about that. It's about how, if we're going to go ahead with this, then we have to reconnect back with nature. So it has to be a reconnecting with nature and a connecting with technology at the same time, for it to be in any way safe. And we've got to consider ethics every step of the way. Ethics, ethics, ethics.
Sure.
And we've got to be really, really, really careful, because at the moment there's a lot of people in power, and they're only in power because they have a lot of money. They're not in power because they've got good hearts. They're not in power because they really, really care about people. They're in power just for greed and money purposes. So it's really, really, really important that if we're going to go ahead and we're going to have an amazing society, because humans are, we've got a lot of dark spots, right? We've got a lot of shadow, but we're amazing creatures. We're incredibly beautiful creatures, and we have a lot of love, and we love our friends and family, and we love our, we love the planet. We love everything. We are not just, we're not just numbers. We're not just robots. We're not just, there's so much more to us. It's right brain and left brain, and I think that it is a balancing, isn't it? Ian McGilchrist is a guy that actually I'm really, really looking forward to. Thursday, tomorrow is Thursday, isn't it? Tomorrow, we have a lecture, an extra special college lecture from Ian McGilchrist, and the lecture is entitled "What is Consciousness?" But he wrote this book called "The Master and His Emissary," and it was all about how society has been hijacked by the right brain. And the right brain is all about order and organization and domination, and it's completely dominated the right brain, which is all
Left brain.
feelings and
Left brain.
sorry.
Yeah, the right brain has dominated the left brain.
No, the left brain
Oh,
has
left
taken
brain's dominated the right brain. Oh, yeah, you were
the left
just.
brain The
Yeah.
left brain's taken. I'm probably backwards here.
Yeah, you
The
said
left
it the other
brain's
way. Yeah, that's fine.
the
Just
left brain's
yes.
taken over,
Yes,
and
left brain is logic, right brain is intuition.
yeah, and creativity
Yeah,
and intuition.
yeah,
Yes, all that kind of stuff. So he is saying that we need to rebalance that. Of course, it's also like all the feminine aspects that have been dominated. So like right brain would be kind of
nurturing.
affiliated with all the feminine aspects
Yeah,
of things, all
yeah,
the intuition and the feeling and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So it always comes back to out of balance with the masculine and the feminine has been squashed and the masculine is just,
right.
controlling everything. It comes back to that when you're talking about neuroscience in the brain. It comes back to that with just the heart and the different traits of feminine and masculine.
Sure.
So to go forward, technology is so, it's very masculine and nature is so feminine.
Yeah.
So that was what my essay was about, that okay, singularity is coming. There are lots of people who say, oh, don't, first of all, there are people who say you're a conspiracy theorist, and that's just ridiculous because this is happening and there are academic papers that are explaining everything.
Oh yeah.
And to say that's a conspiracy theorist is basically just showing that you know nothing, that
Yes.
that you're talking about something that you don't know.
You're in denial.
Because
Yeah.
there's books, there's
Yeah.
there's academic studies in transhumanism that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So it is coming. But then there are also people who are saying, oh yeah, but that's 50 years away. And it's not 50 years. It's
No,
maybe
it's right now.
15,
It's right now,
50,
really.
15 max, 15 years away max. So this is going to happen in our lifetime. So we've really got to think about this. We've really got
Sure.
to think about
Sure.
how we want to go forward, because this is a huge turning point, what with
Yeah.
the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. This is a undeniable huge turning point for humanity,
Yeah.
and we've got to say where we want to go. And where do we want to go? I want reconnection with spirituality and with nature, as well as taking on these amazing technological advancements that could prolong life, that could allow the people who can't walk to walk, that could allow the people who can't see to see, kind of Geordie LaForge Star Trek stuff. That's coming. It's coming.
Sure.
So it could be incredible. It could be absolutely incredible, but
Yeah.
we've really got to dismantle the capitalist consumerism society, which will not be very easy, because all the people with the power just want to keep the power, basically. And it's just such an unbalanced system, isn't it? Unfair,
Sure.
unbalanced system that
Sure.
we have to really work out. And if we were truly balanced and happy in our souls, this wouldn't be the case. This wouldn't be the
Right.
case.
Right.
And what we're looking for, there's this want in us, this desire, I lack, which the capitalist consumerism society has really tapped into, and they've done it on purpose. And if you want to look up Edward Bernays, he was the nephew of Freud, and he read Freud's paper on unconscious desires, and that's how he formulated all his propaganda stuff, and how to sell cigarettes to everybody, and how to get people to buy what they didn't need.
Sure.
So he changed all that. He changed people buying what they needed to people just buying what they wanted, or what they were told to want.
Yes.
So this whole lack in the human spirit of I miss something, I need something, I need to buy this, I need new clothes, I need a new car, I need a new house, I need this, I need blah, blah, blah. And it's all us being manipulated by the consumerist capitalist society. And really what we need is we need love, and we need connection, and it's connection. And that's what the whole shaman thing, that's why I love shamanism. It's all about the interconnectedness of everything, and how everything has a vibration. So we're all interconnected. We're all nodes on this infinite net, and we're not apart from nature. We are nature. We're
Yeah.
not separate from nature.
Yeah.
We are nature. So what we're lacking, what we're needing, is our reconnection with nature. That's what it really boils down to. And to get back to I know it, to a lot of people, it would be like, oh, shut up, you hippie, or whatever. But it is getting back to really appreciating trees and plants and birds and the natural landscapes, mountains, and getting back out and getting out and having a walk around with your shoes off, and tuning back into the natural frequency of Mother Earth, which is 7.82 hertz or something. It's the Schumann frequency,
Yeah.
which is it's the
Same
red.
as the heart. Same as
Yeah,
the.
exactly. And so we're completely.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Very good.
That's okay. You've
Yeah.
stopped me in my rant. That's
No, no.
good,
You're
because I
well.
could go on forever. But
Yes. Well,
we're
listen. Go on. Finish your thought.
well, we're out of balance, aren't we? We're out of balance,
Yeah.
and it's too much brain, and it's too much left brain, and it's too much power and control in the patriarchy, and
Yeah.
we really need to get our stuff together now, because this is a turning point. You can't deny that this is a turning point in humanity, and I want to go forward. I want to put deep, good messages out there. I want to put messages of love and connection out there, and yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to do anyway.
Yeah, honey. You're doing great. I mean, let me just add to what you've just shared there, which is so important and so powerful. So I said I'm studying with Patricia Cota Robles and Addie Lamborn, particularly over the last year. And Addie is a mystic who's been contacted by spirit since she was 2 years of age. She grew up in communist Czechoslovakia. She lives in California now. And she also makes Patricia's videos, which is one of the ways that they connected together. Patricia's put out weekly videos for the last 6 years. She's put out 307 videos, 307 weeks in a row. And what Patricia is channeling from spirit and what Addie is sharing from her connection to the Divine Mother, really adds to everything you're talking about. Basically, what Patricia and the guide she works with, she calls the Company of Heaven, say is that since this new decade began, we've been being bombarded with light and energy from the great central sun and other sources of light and energy in the universe, and that what she calls our fifth dimensional crystalline solar light bodies and our fifth dimensional 12-strand DNA have been bombarded with light and activated and raised in our vibration. And the Divine Mother, we have what she calls the trifold flame in our heart, which is the feminine, the masculine, and the inner child, blue, pink, and gold. And that trifold flame, the I am presence and the trifold flame of love in our heart, has finally now, in the last few months, been able to bring back the divine feminine into every human heart on the planet and begin to rebalance this conflict that you're describing so eloquently and so passionately. And so there is, to my mind, Shan, you've known me for a long time. This is my heart to yours. There is a lot of help that is happening and is available to all of us if we're open to it. And I agree with you. This is the repeat of Atlantis. This is the return of the ego and the will and technology trying to dominate and usurp the role of the goddess and of God in the world, and it will fail, and it will not come to the conclusion that some people want it to come to, because while that is moving down, our vibration, our creativity, our gifts, our awareness is going to continue to move up. So that's a thumbnail sketch of what I truly believe is happening right now in response to spirit, that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, as Teilhard de Chardin said. And this is the paradox. And absolutely, women and the divine feminine are leading the way in this lifetime. And that's the sacred role for women and the divine feminine, to help the masculine come back into harmony and balance with ourselves, with nature, with life, with tribal culture and families, and living in balance in the earth, all of that. So that's something I wanted to share there. And also, Addie says the Divine Mother knows every song that's ever been written. and her passion is music. One of her great passions is music. So every song that gets written, the Divine Mother takes that into her heart, and music is one of the most magical and powerful forces that we have from Spirit, from the Divine Mother to awaken, to create. I was saying earlier, I've done more with guitar and singing in the last year than my whole life before that. And so, we're two peas in a pod, my friend. We're beating the drum of truth and freedom here for all we're worth, and it will make the difference. I agree with you. This decade is absolutely the turning point. And as you said earlier, before we got on, it doesn't really matter whether who's getting it or who's not getting it. That's not our concern. Putting it out there, putting it out there, putting it out there. That's what we're about, and that's why I know the funding for you and me and all of us is always going to show up in the perfect time, in the perfect way, as we allow it to, because this message is supported by creation itself. So that's my speech in response to your beautiful message there, my friend.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah,
And just a couple of points that came up when you were
yeah.
saying
Please.
all that beautiful stuff. Anne Baring says that we have amazing technology advances, amazing. We're just doing amazing, but we have neglected our spiritual sides. And really what we need to do is to focus on our spiritual development along with the technology, the development of technology, because they're both really, really important.
Of
And
course.
I do believe that one of the best ways to God, I don't know how to say it, but music, yes, music.
Yeah.
There's something really
Well, to,
fundamental.
to get high, to stay high, to open our hearts, to get back in the flow of life, to create.
Yeah, to get in that flow which just seems like you're at one, that
Yeah, yeah.
transcendental kind of feeling, which is all the transpersonal stuff. And at the moment I'm right in the middle of writing an essay on the growing edges of transpersonal music therapy.
Brilliant.
And there's this book, I don't know if you've ever seen
No?
it, Music and Soul Making. It's just an amazing book by an amazing spiritual music therapist. It's incredible. But what she was saying, and I was reading this last night because I was writing it into my essay, is that music can now be proven to have preceded speech. So before we even spoke, we had these chants, these kind of shamanic chants. So we were using music before we were using language. And I would argue that music helped us develop language to the point that we've actually come to, which is incredible.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and the only thing that I didn't agree with
Okay,
in all these
keep
things,
me honest. Take me on.
the
Yeah.
only thing that I didn't agree with is that the claim that humans are the only creatures that make music and blah, blah, blah. I just think that's a load of,
No,
uh,
I wouldn't say
that's,
that. I would never.
well, it was said in this book, and it was
I
said in a
see.
few other places as well, neurological music therapy, and it's um,
Bird song and a
kind of
million other
attributed
things.
to our
Yeah.
human brain, which is
Whales,
another,
dolphins.
it's the heart as well. It's not just the brain that's creating music.
Yeah.
But I would argue that if music preceded speech, and we weren't speaking to each other, but we were out there listening to nature, we were out in the caves, we were foraging for food, we were listening to the birds,
Of course.
obviously.
Yeah.
And I would say that we started with music by trying to mimic the birds.
Sure.
That's how I would see it. I mean, I would, like, if you couldn't speak, if you were just this kind of primate and you were going around trying to find food and you were listening to these beautiful bird songs are incredible. Like, they
Of
have all
course.
these amazing melodies.
Of
Blackbirds have these
course.
incredible
Yeah.
melodies.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was a long time and they didn't have any tech or any, entertainment or anything. I
Yeah.
would say that they would probably start mimicking the birds. So I don't think music is a human creation. I really, really, really disagree with that point of view. I think
Okay.
music is just a
I'm not
fundamental
defending
part
it,
of,
so Good for you.
fundamental part of the universe,
Yeah, of
and it's
course.
always existed, and it's always been in the rocks and the stones
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the birds, and that we've take you know we've used it, like we mine for things and whatever. We've extracted music for ourselves, but I don't think that humans came up with music. I think that's ridiculous.
yes, sir.
um
I agree with you. I mean,
yeah,
life is
so
music.
music is a force. It's
Yeah,
another natural, beautiful, fundamental force of nature and the universe, and it's very, very powerful.
yeah,
And I think songwriting is an extremely powerful thing because it takes the right brain and the left brain and it mingles them together in perfect harmony. So
yeah,
you've got the left brain coming up with the words and the structure and reorganizing the words and writing the language side of things,
yeah,
and the right brain you've got coming up with the melody and the music on your instrument, and you're melding them in the most perfectly balanced way of left brain and right brain,
yeah,
of mind and heart, of
yeah,
masculine and feminine.
yeah,
And that is why songwriting is so powerful.
yeah, and singing and playing, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, singing is just like flying, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And playing is also right and left brain, uh,
Yeah,
coming together. Oh, 100% agree, my friend. You get no argument from me that life is a song, and when you
yeah,
step into nature, she's singing to you. And, all we can do is be an imitation of what nature is showing us is possible. And in that, we strive to equal that, it's a lofty, beautiful thing. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I can't remember who said it. Could have been Alan Watts or something, who said, "You are the music while the music is happening." And that's I love that, and I love, when you listen to a great song and I don't know if it's the same for everybody. Music really affects me very, very, very deeply. Um, and
Thank
like as I hear like a song, my favorite song, if it's one of my
Yeah,
favorite songs,
yeah,
and I'm in a shop,
right.
I'm like, this is my favorite song. It's to complete strangers.
Sure,
I don't know
sure.
why. Music
You lose your
really,
mind.
really, really affects
Yes,
me
yes.
very strongly. And then I just get completely taken over. My body just has to move. Dancing is another thing.
Yeah,
Dancing is the most incredible thing that you can do
yeah,
as a human being, I feel, and it's
yeah,
free and it makes you feel happy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
dance every weekend in my bedroom.
Wonderful.
Singing, dancing, music, it's just such an incredible, 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 incredible thing that we have.
Yeah,
And it could change the world. I mean, all the Bob Dylan stuff and John Lennon, music can change the world. And
yeah,
that's why I really feel that this is an important thing, this Anne Baring album, that to get out, because
yeah,
music can change the world. And even
yeah,
if it's just one person, that's still feeding into the collective consciousness. It's still making a tiny, tiny little difference. It's like the butterfly effect kind of thing.
sure.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's magical. So are you, sweetheart. And I think we'll leave it there at that perfect high note. Thank
Okay.
you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, no, I love everything you're saying. And of course, I love you madly and I love what you're doing. And as I said earlier, I'm so always inspired by your example. And you're just blazing a trail one more time every day, just putting it out there over and over again. So thank you and bless you.
Oh, thank you. I'm just being wacky me.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
just
that
following
feeling.
my heart.
Yeah,
I'm just following my heart, really. And
that
yeah,
works.
no, life is good. Life is a blessing, and I'm very lucky to be here. As hard as it can be, I'm very lucky to be here, and I'm glad I came.
Me too. Me too. Brilliant. So we'll put the links to your. Thank you again, hon. We'll put the links to your music, and we'll put your Patreon and PayPal, and people can help this to happen. How do we like
They
that?
want to look. There's no pressure, but I will say that my essays, Homo Eco Techno, and another consciousness essay I wrote, are all up on my Patreon page for free to read for free,
Great.
and my music, transpersonal music therapy essay will be going up there in the next few months as well. And if you want to say hi at any stage, I'm on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook loads these days. I'm more on Instagram, but you can also email me at sianbrownmusictherapy@gmail.com. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Good.
Otherwise, I hope everybody is full of love and happiness and joy. And yeah, think about nature and think about how you can reconnect with nature today and listen to your favorite song today, and just celebrate being you and being human and having this weird life on this strange planet.
Shine your light and share your love.
Yeah.
Absolutely, honey. You're doing both. Well, thank you
Follow
again,
your
darling.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Love you. Talk to you soon. We'll leave it there for the moment, okay?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
Sian. Thanks a million. Say hi to Jemmy, and we'll put
I
all
will. I
send me
will.
the stuff, and I'll
Okay.
put the links on with this, and keep on rocking in the free world, my friend.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings.